Okay, what's up, everybody? Man, I really wish I could wear these glasses, but there's some two little circles in the middle, and it makes me look a little cross-eyed, and I'm cross-eyed enough as it is. I was up in New Hampshire doing some flying, and this story happened. Initially, I wanted to just leave and come home, but I decided to fly a little bit, and after being slammed around a few times, and having a couple of minor crashes, I decided maybe we'll go home, let some of the sunburn heal and the bruises get better, and talk about this story. So, Senator Lindsey Graham died a few days ago. He was 71 years old. There is widespread speculation surrounding his death. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina passed away on July 15th, 2026 at the age of 71. According to official reports, the veteran lawmaker succumbed to an aortic dissection at his residence. Authorities, including the FBI, responded promptly to the scene, though details surrounding the exact circumstances of his death remain limited. Here's a video of Dr. Oz talking about the official report.
Would he have seen this coming?
Unlikely. One of the things with aortic dissection, I brought a simple model to demonstrate it, is you don't have much warning. And the real cautionary tale is keep your blood pressure low, because that is the one risk factor that seems to be recurrent. And the second is, if you have the worst pain you have ever had, you should go see a doctor. Unfortunately, with aortic dissection, even then, it's sometimes too late. About 30% of people die within the first day. More than half are dead within 2 days. So even if you call immediately, and he did apparently, by the time you get to the patient and get them to a doctor, and they need a heart surgeon like me ultimately to fix the problem, you just don't have enough time. And here's why. This is from your makeup room, so I appreciate the prop. But a paper towel, and you have a tube on the inside of the paper towel, and that's where the blood would normally course through your body. Now imagine the heart is where my chest is, and the blood is moving forward. If the blood pressure is high or there's hardening of the arteries, which happens with age, you'll actually tear this tube. You can sort of see it tear like that. And as it tears, the blood, instead of being in the middle of the tube, goes into the side of the tube. There's no room to go there. So it starts to rip through these layers of the tube until ultimately there's no blood going where it's supposed to go. So you shut off the blood to the heart, to the brain, to the kidneys, to many parts of the body, and ultimately this rips out. And when it rips out, it actually compresses the heart, and that's called cardiac tamponade, and it's probably the reason why we lost Senator Graham. You don't have a lot of time. The heart's pumping 6 liters a minute, so a lot of blood going in the wrong direction, spurting out of that tube, can take your life in many ways. So the main thing you've got to do is prevent the potential risk factors, and those are ones that are fairly common, but the reason we call high blood pressure a silent killer is because people don't know about it, because it's silent.
Senator Graham served for nearly 3 decades in Washington. Graham earned a reputation as one of the most vocal hawks. He was known for his quickness to support military intervention and regime change across multiple countries, which is part of the reason why some people hate him so much. Critics frequently accused him of showing little concern for civilian casualties, particularly in his aggressive advocacy for expanded bombing campaigns and prolonged U.S. military engagements abroad. Here's a video of some of the rhetoric which caused people to be so critical of Senator Lindsey Graham.
America First is to kill people who wish us ill, to take them off the table.
When this regime goes down, we're going to have a new Mideast. We're going to make a ton of money. You just wait to see what comes in the next 2 weeks.
The next 2 weeks meaning what?
We're going to blow the hell out of these people. The mothership of international terrorism is about to collapse. The captain of the ship, the Ayatollah, is stone cold dead.
The mothership of terrorism is sinking. The captain is dead.
The mothership of terrorism is about to go down. There's a new dawn coming in the Mideast.
Thank God Trump did this.
If we lose anybody in this operation, they will have died a noble death.
We should applaud our men and women in the military who are doing something I've never seen done before, decimating a brutal enemy in 9 days. I'm not looking for a fair fight. If we get in a fight, I want to win it. I want to win it quick. If somebody is threatening my family, wants to rape your wife, and burn down your house and kill your children. I don't want to wait till they get to the gun store and the gas station. We're at war with Iran. We've been at war for a long. They've been at war with us. We're finally at war with them. It's an undeclared state of war. I'm glad we're finally taking this regime on. I'm calling on President Trump today. Join Israel to attack Hezbollah. Settle the score. Even the account. Mr. President, unleash the American military with Israel on Hezbollah tonight. Finish these bastards off. Mr. President, do it and do it now. They're weak. We can take them out, and we should take them out. I'm urging our Arab allies to fight back. You're being hit, too. I want them to get in the fight. Cuba's next. They're going to fall. This communist dictatorship in Cuba, their days are numbered. Free Cuba. Stay tuned. Yeah. The liberation of Cuba is upon us. It's just a matter of time now. You see this at? Make Iran great. President Trump said the only way to make Iran great is for the people to take over. We're marching through the world. We're cleaning out the bad guys. So how does this end? It ends with victory. Donald J. Trump is going to bring this regime down. He is the greatest commander-in-chief of all time. Our military is the best of all time. Iran is going down, and Cuba is next.
There's a lot of questions around Graham's death. Some of the timelines don't add up, and depending on who you ask, there are possibly some other skeletons in his closet. This is not to defame him. I'm not confirming or denying any of this. It's just when I found out that another senator died, on top of already having one sick and missing, Mitch McConnell, it just got stuck in my head and I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I had to come back home and look into this. And this is what I found. Graham's final days have become the subject of intense scrutiny. On July 11th, he arrived in Kiev. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Kiev. I personally pronounce that I. Graham's final days have become the subject of intense scrutiny. On July 11th, he arrived in Kiev and toured the Skyfall drone manufacturing facility where Ukraine produces advanced attack drones. Later that day, he met with President Zelensky. Hours after his departure, Russian forces launched strikes on multiple defense facilities in the Kiev region. While it has not been officially confirmed that the specific factory Graham visited was destroyed, the timing has fueled significant speculation. Now, depending on who you ask and which reports you read, that factory got hit. And many are suggesting that he was there when it got hit. According to official accounts, Graham returned to Washington, where he was pronounced dead on July 15th. However, former CIA analyst Larry Johnson and other independent observers have publicly questioned whether the timeline adds up. Here's a video of Larry Johnson going over some of the timeline and what he thinks.
Get through on the timeline. If everything's normal, he arrives normally in Kyiv because, that's how they do it. In fact, the United States pre-coordinates with Russia so they don't attack the trains. And Russia in the past has not attacked those trains. So he arrives in Kyiv, he meets with Zelensky. At some point, there's video footage of him going through this drone factory, and he's holding up one of the drones, smiling, because it's sort of shaped like a dildo. So that he may have had some other thoughts going through his mind with respect to the drone. But let's say, for whatever reason, it was urgent, so that he had to get back. Unless you're being medically evacuated, they're not going to bring in a military aircraft to haul you out of there on a normal visit. And so it was either he went the normal route on the train back to Poland, which is at least a 10-hour ride, maybe a little longer. Then you catch a plane, and the plane coming back to the United States is at least 10 hours. Bigger headwinds could make it 11. So that's the normal route. And I'm saying if he just did a normal, this quick in and out, he still got home after the time that he supposedly died at home. So it's sort of tough to die at home when you're not at home. So We're not sure what happened. All I can tell you is the story that's been put out by the U.S. government is a lie.
Larry Johnson is a retired CIA employee, not the clandestine type. He wasn't much of a field guy. I did a little bit of digging, and it seems like most of the work he did was in office. So how credible he can be, I don't know. I don't know a lot about this guy. He could just be somebody with a little bit of credentials who is using his reputation as a former CIA employee to come on these shows and do these podcasts. Take it for what it is. But the flight from DC to Kiev takes approximately 10 hours, not including security protocols and ground transportation in a war zone. Many argue there simply wasn't enough time for Graham to return home before his reported death. Okay? Adding further to the mystery, Graham reportedly made an unannounced solo trip to Disney World just weeks before his passing. The unusual nature of this personal visit with no staff or official explanation. Now, this is where it gets weird. Because, right, I personally thought that he was probably poisoned or whatever. I mean, when you hear about somebody who's 71, is kind of young, being found dead just a day after a successful visit to a drone factory in Kiev, it's suspicious. So you start looking into things, and then you find out all this other stuff, blackmail and things that he was doing in his personal life, because he was a single bachelor.
Hey, Lindsey, why don't you just admit that you're gay and then people won't blackmail you anymore?
Okay. Graham reportedly made an unannounced personal visit to Disney World just before his passing with no staffers, by himself. The unusual nature of this personal visit with no staff or official explanation, which there can't be an official explanation for going to Disneyland as a grown man that has no children and no staffers, has raised eyebrows among independent researchers. Here's a clip from TMZ showing Senator Graham at Disneyland with a bubble wand walking around by himself.
How are you, man? I'm from TMZ. Could I just ask you about the bubble wand, sir? Can I say just quickly about the bubble wand?
Now, again, I'm not saying it means anything. I'm just saying it's weird enough that I felt like I should put it in here. Part of me wants to be very respectful to the dead. Someday I'm going to pass, and some people are going to say some pretty nasty things about me. Others, not so much. And I won't be there to defend myself, just like Graham's not here to defend himself. And I never looked into the guy before this. However, in online communities, long-standing rumors about Graham's personal life have resurfaced. For years, anonymous forums have circulated online claims regarding the origins of the nickname Lady G. Interesting. With some alleging it stemmed from private encounters, which there's so much online stuff about this that I didn't even know where to start and can't go down that rabbit hole because it's probably a whole nother 2 or 3 videos. The same circles suggest Graham may have been the subject of blackmail by intelligence agencies, which would explain his dramatic political transformation from a vocal Trump critic in 2026. From a vocal Trump critic in 2016 to one of his strongest supporters. While the mainstream sources maintain that Graham's death was due to natural causes, which we can't prove or disprove, alternative media figures such as Alex Jones have openly questioned the official narrative. It's not just Alex Jones, it's Tucker Carlson, Benny Johnson, and others. but those are the most notable so far, with some suggesting Graham may have actually died in Ukraine. As the public examines the unusual timeline and circumstances surrounding his final weeks, many are left wondering what really happened to Senator Lindsey Graham, and we may never know. This is going to be another one of those weird political mysteries. But there, and you can go online and check this out for yourself, there are people out there who claim to have had relations with Senator Graham in hotel rooms and were paid fat stacks of cash. And Lady G isn't the only nickname he has. This one trans influencer, I don't know what you would call them, says he called Graham his little ladybug because of freckles around certain body parts. And I feel very disrespectful even mentioning that, but it's worth mentioning because this is somebody who was a Republican senator, portrayed himself as somebody who carried a certain type of beliefs, morals, and ideologies, but behind closed doors may have been the complete opposite. And I don't think it's wrong to be any of that stuff. I think it's even more powerful as a testament to the freedom of this country if you're a gay conservative senator. And some of this stuff could be true. Some of it could not be true. If you listen to Alex Jones and types of the like, they do think he was blackmailed. Apparently those guys go down these rabbit holes. I haven't. I am new to this kind of journalism, if that's what you want to call it. I don't even know what this whole thing is that I'm doing. I am just tired of not knowing what's going on, but watching these things that keep on happening that have an impact on me. Maybe not immediately, but they do eventually, because we lost Mitch McConnell. He's not going to run again. That's a Republican seat now that opens up and is up for grabs. And we just lost Senator Lindsey Graham. Those are two Republican seats. We have midterms coming up. And I personally believe that we live in a country where the Democratic Party has been taken over by socialists and communists. And throughout history, we have seen what the results are of those types of ideologies and how they impact society. China, when they became communist, literally were eating people. All these countries lose their rights. All these countries end up having censored media, one-party states. They squash political opposition. There is no free speech. And there is a lot of violence. And we see a lot of violence from the left. So I'm not going to go too far down that road. That's just what's going on in my head. And as I research this stuff, I reserve the right to change my mind. However, that's the camp that I'm in right now, because I've personally experienced the violence and my algorithm shows me the violence nonstop. And I look for it on both sides. And trust me, violence does exist on both sides. However, when you look at surveys or polling, the left is overwhelmingly self-proclaimed to be okay with political violence, far more than they used to be. Roughly 70% of them agree or support socialism and communism, both of which can never exist without the current political system being taken by force, both of which historically use violence to achieve their outcomes or to achieve their goals. So this is where I stand. Maybe this is where this podcast will go. But for now, that's what I got on this. I'll leave it up to you to draw your own conclusions. I'm not saying it's one way or the other. It was just interesting enough for me to stop what I was doing in New Hampshire, come back home, and do a piece on it. You may or may not like my point of view, and that's totally fine. I think it's okay for us to disagree. And regardless of what you think, I'd love to hear what it is. So leave it in the comments. I will read it. I will do my best to get back to you. I've got a fat stack of books right now that I'm reading. I'm doing a lot of research. And so I may not be able to get back to everybody quickly, but I will do my best to get back and respond to your comments. If you liked it, share it. If you thought it was informative, that's cool. Give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate you taking the time to watch this. I'm watching the clock right now. I'm already at 20 minutes. I'm obviously going to edit this down so it's quicker to watch. But thanks for watching. I truly do appreciate it. Continue to inform yourself, and I'll continue to do the same. Keep your head on a swivel. Stay safe. And I'll see you in the next video.